Thursday night football in the NFL brings us a matchup between two interesting squads, the Denver Broncos and the Arizona Cardinals. Case Keenum has to prove a lot to the Broncos faithful, but that defense really has to be better against the run. And the Arizona Cardinals starting rookie quarterback Josh Rosen, who's been making some progress as he moves forward throughout the season. So what are the keys to victory and the X factors to keep an eye on? Well, that's why we're here to break it down. Starting with the Broncos offense in this game, and the biggest X factor they potentially have is in the backfield. I was at that Jets game 2 weeks ago and started to see them utilize both backs, rookies Royce Freeman and Phillip Lindsay, in the backfield together and also in the passing game. Right now, the Cardinals are having some issues at the second level, so both backs could be in store for big days on both ends of offense. Defensively, Denver has to get things shored up within their front seven on defense. The last 2 weeks, teams have ran for over 200 yards on the ground against them. When you look at this defensive front seven on paper, you'd say that would be next to impossible to do. But whether it's scheme, personnel, or not being assignment sound, or all three of the above, whatever the case may be, they can't allow a sputtering offense like the Cardinals have some life because of their ineffective play along the defensive front and at the linebacker level. For all of you fantasy football fans out there, check out my fantasy football content on The Athletic. Just head over to theathletic.com/fantasy and also follow them on Twitter at TheAthleticFF. Moving over to Arizona in this ball game, and their offensive coordinator, Mike McCoy, has to find a way to get this offense out of a rut. This would be the matchup, considering how the Broncos have been stumbling the last 2 weeks on defense, to get it going. The offense tends to start games off pretty fine, but then when the defense starts to adjust, the offense seems to not figure out how to get their guys, their best guys, in position to make plays. I know McCoy is hearing a lot of heat, or taking a lot of heat from the fans and from the media, but he definitely has to strike the right chord in order to help this Cards offense have success on that side of the ball. Defensively, the run defense has been as bad as the Broncos' run defense this season. Arizona is 31st in the league in defending the run, giving up 151 yards a game, while the Broncos, honestly, are 32nd. And as is the case with Denver, when you look at this roster that has Hassan Reddick and Deion Buchanan on it, it doesn't make any sense. Both of those guys barely have made a significant impact this year in head coach Steve Wilks' new defense. So it's been bizarre to see the Cardinals this bad in this area. And like we've always said, stopping the run is about attitude and want to. Well, we're going to learn a lot about both in this game against the Broncos. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast, where you can find our Best Bets podcast, as our football game plan analysts Gene Clemens, Chris James, and yours truly give you our best college football and NFL picks against the spread to help you take home the loot. You can also find all of our podcasts on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/FBGP podcast. I like Arizona in this ball game. I feel as though the Cardinals are not as bad as their 1-5 record may indicate. They just have to find that offensive consistency throughout the game in order to have some success. What will help them out on Thursday night, in my opinion, on a short week, could be a blessing in disguise. That short week will probably force them to lean on that ground game just a bit more, which will subsequently help them win this ball game against the Denver Broncos.